Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
That was so well done. Wasn't it worth stopping it to make sure that you guys were focused on it? Michael, congratulations on that video.
Thank you.
And congratulations because I think you just put out another commercial, and I think it was trending on Advertising Age or Ad Week this week. It's Jacques the razor. Is it
The dirty
Jacques?
razor, yeah. The dirty razor that you've milked too long.
Yeah, how many people here have seen that video? Probably a lot. Have you seen the latest one, Jacques the dirty razor too?
It's just,
good.
It's very new.
How many people here shave? It's personal.
Something, shave something.
Shave something. How many people here use Dollar Shave Club?
Ooh, tough crowd.
Oh, okay. We're gonna need to convert everyone here. So, anyway, so this is. I'm thrilled to have Michael here. It's been a long day, but an awesome day. And it's nice to have him here because, as you can tell, he has a great sense of humor. He's going to be quite entertaining, I'm sure. And so we thought we were going to have fun with this, a little bit of fun anyway, not too corny, but we would try to have fun with the interview by sort of interjecting some words into my questions and his answers. They would be words like shave and cut and slice and smooth, and so we'll see how long we can do that for. So I've already told Mike, so I'm sure he's got some very edgy comments already, cutting edgy comments.
Nice, nice.
So yeah, trying to stay ahead of you because I'm sure he's gonna be well over my head with his humor. And I also want to make this interactive because it is the end of the day, and I'm sure there's many of you who have questions about how he's built his company. He's going to be generating about $140 million in revenue already. Started 3.5, 4 years ago. So amazing marketer. So get your questions ready. If you have a question, since it's the end of the day, let's open it up. I'm happy to share the stage with.
How many founders? How many founders in the room? Cool. And non-founders that work at companies with fewer than 25 employees. Okay, cool. And how many people work for Procter & Gamble? Okay, good.
And Gillette. Okay. And Harry's, and Harry's Shave. Well, what's that other? That's a new one. You've never heard of it.
I've never heard of them.
Okay, so, all right, so let's start. Well, over the last, most of these guys here, and who works on hardware anyway here? Anybody work with hardware? One, so mostly software. And over the last 20 years, since the commercialization of the internet and the improvements in infrastructure and mobile computing, a lot of these companies have emerged to make our lives more convenient, more smooth, and
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Somebody keeping score?
Who's keeping score? And so I'm curious, what are some of the advancements in sort of razor technology that enabled you to create this sort of, this new revolutionized razor, if that's the case?
Yeah, so that's actually the opposite of what we're doing. We are selling you, well, as you saw in the video, our story is the big boys are serving you up superfluous technological advancements that don't really measure up, so to speak. Gillette's latest Flex Ball product, they claim to shave 13 microns closer than the previous version of Gillette. And I mean, raise your hand if you know what a micron is, or how big a micron is, or how long it takes to to grow. One guy, yeah. How big is a micron? How much?
Those guys are pure scientists.
Yeah.
There.
So and it's like, how long does it take for 13 microns to grow? Maybe a half an hour. So you decide if that's technology that you need or not. And the vibrating handles and the LED guide lights that they have. I mean, these are what Gillette and Schick to a certain extent have been upselling the customer on. And we make fun of it in the video by saying your grandfather had a great shave and he only had one blade, but the fact is you don't need a revolutionized razor to get the job done. And so that go-to-market tone has really made us the people's hero of the men's grooming category, because we finally called bullshit on what the big boys were doing to take advantage of the customer. So it's not actually a revolutionized razor that we're selling. We're selling a more humble version of what you already are getting.
Yeah, but that's disruptive. I mean, you're basically taking a staid old industry that continues to manipulate or influence our thinking that we need something bigger and better, when it's sort of like medicine, when there's just so many different drugs for so many different things. We talked about this, and aspirin works pretty well.
Right. There's a big opportunity out there to create a brand around aspirin.
That's next for you, right?
Yeah. As soon as all of this goes bad for me, I'll get onto aspirin.
Which it won't. But so it sounds like what you're saying. And by the way, I want to thank you, because my husband sometimes he goes and he buys me razors, and he gets me these really complicated ones, and I just don't get them. So and they're expensive, so I do want to thank you for bringing this sort of to somebody who's very cost conscious, and thank you for right-sizing that market.
Happy to do it.
So so it sounds like what you're saying is that you have a great value proposition.
Yep.
You're lowering the cost, you're keeping the product simple, but it's effective. It's pretty effective already. And, but you also have a really great marketing savvy and strategies. So what's made Dollar Shave Club? It doesn't sound like it's the razors. It sounds like it's more the marketing, or it's more what's made it successful?
Yeah, sure. So I think, look, the razor is excellent, and we have 2.4 million members in Dollar Shave Club that get a shipment from us every month or every other month. I don't care how funny the commercials are. If your product isn't good or great, you're not gonna achieve that level of adoption. I think what Dollar Shave Club is doing that's different from what everybody else is doing, or the way we think about Dollar Shave Club is as a lifestyle brand and an experience company. We don't think about ourselves as a razor company. We're providing a service. We're providing guidance, and we're providing great content to build this experience and help guys find what they need in the bathroom. But and that philosophy infuses our approach to everything that we do. So yes, the commercials are great. It's the first touch that a lot of people have with the brand. You get a laugh from it, whether it's this video or any of our other 8 or 9 commercials that are running at any given time. And then you come to the website and you have this very easy browsing experience, and a lot of that it's very hard to make something look so simple, but there's dozens of engineers and digital product people that are working hard to make that experience really seamless and nice. And then you get the package in the mail, and it's simple, humble, but well constructed, and there's more humor and great content in there. We send a little magazine out that's kind of like highlights for men for you to read in your bathroom. It's called the Bathroom Minutes, and we have people that say, I subscribe to Dollar Shave Club just because of the Bathroom Minutes, not because of the razors. And again, you hope that's not true, but it illustrates the point that that people feel an emotional connection to this brand. They want to have, and that reflects a larger conversation that's happening, or not a larger conversation, but a larger theme in business today. If you want to be successful, you have to create an emotional connection with your customer. You have to have a conversation with your customer. You don't want to talk at your customer. And I think brands of this generation are doing that a lot better than the incumbents. And it used to be just product, place, price, promotion, or the 4 Ps as they'll teach you in school. And now it's the 4 Es: exclusivity, engagement, emotion, and experience. But those are, that's how we think about building our business. And yes, of course, the razor has to be of high quality, but people don't think of us as a razor company, and that's the way we want it.
Exclusivity, so they have to feel they're part of something unique, and that's how you're making them feel.
Exactly.
So I want to jump into that brand building because since we're moving in that direction, and a lot of companies here, I think, because it's becoming competitive out there, you have to build a brand.
Yeah.
You really have to build a brand. So what are some, and you're really good at doing that with your social video. So I guess a couple of questions. How do you create a great branded social video? And then how do you create how do you market, what's your strategy around creating a brand versus just promoting your product?
Right. So I think the first thing to say is I agree with what you're saying. Digital companies today, and I'm assuming most of the companies here have some important aspects of their company that's digital, if not the whole company. But digital companies have a lot to gain by thinking about building a brand. It's not the first thing that comes to mind when a lot of entrepreneurs in the tech space get started, because they focus on the product itself, the digital product itself, and that's probably smart. But not everybody is going to be like an Uber where it's completely word of mouth and totally viral. You go out to dinner with a bunch of friends, you talk to your friend, everybody walks outside afterwards, and somebody says, "I'm calling an Uber." The other 5 say, "What's Uber?" Now 6 people know about Uber, and that's how that word gets spread. But most businesses, whether they're B2B or B2C, don't do a good enough job at celebrating their reason for being and the resonant idea that's at the core of what they're doing. And so I encourage anybody starting any kind of business to think deeply about what they're offering the customer, who they are as a company, and then bringing that to life, using great advertising or great social assets. And what we did is we created a video that was used as a social asset to help tell the story of our brand, and to incite a conversation among men. Not really even incite a conversation, but just help them have.
That's a good point, actually.
Help them have a conversation that they're already having with each other. Guys talk about how ridiculous it is to buy razors in the store. All we did was give them a funny thing to look at that told the story that they were already having with each other. So,
right. But it is kind of a story that you're telling. In that,
of course.
Now that,
yeah, it is. It's a story, and I would say that, again, tech founders, their first hire isn't always the marketing guy, but you should have somebody that understands brand and marketing or advertising, even just a great copywriter to start. Somebody that can communicate your ideas clearly on your website, it'll pay for itself.
So who your end customer is, what kind of discussions they're having, and create some sort of campaign to kind of fit into that discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are good things to think about if you're a startup trying to figure out what your brand is, right? Okay. So let's start from the beginning, because you just went from 0 to 60 in the first year, it seemed, with sales. First, let's start off with how you got started, because it's not something that you think about. I'm going to make razors, and you had an interesting start to your company, because you actually had a friend who had a warehouse full of razors. Talk about how this started.
Yeah, I mean, I met my friend's wife's father was a guy who did a lot of business in Asia, and he had warehouse full of razors, and he was like, "Can you help me sell them on the internet?" And I said, "Sure." And I had the idea for Dollar Shave Club pretty quickly thereafter. I'd been working in advertising and e-commerce before, so he kind of knew to ask me of all of our group of friends, and that was very fortuitous. But I think the hard work began once we got down to business on building the website and figuring out how we were going to do logistics, and I did that. Like any founder does, you start by yourself, or maybe with a small group, and figuring out how to do things on a very small level, and then perfecting it as you go. So I started the company in my apartment in early 2011. We didn't launch and then we launched a beta site in July of 2012, and we didn't launch the video and the modern kind of incarnation of Dollar Shave Club until March of 2012. So,
right. But you already had your seed funding, which was what, $1 million?
So we closed the seed funding. No, so we shot the video in October of 2011, and we used that. When we say we, I mean me. I used that video to shop the concept around, and we closed our first round of seed funding in. We closed an angel round in January of $100,000, but we closed
of 2011
of 2012, and then we closed a $1 million seed round in March of 2012. So before that, it was all bootstrapped.
And then you ended up that year, 2012. You also had a Series A. So you literally already raised.
We did a $10 million Series A in October.
Wow, but that's because you had a lot of revenue. So you're showing a lot of traction, and that's how you were able to get the Series A, was that you were able to meet. So March 2012, you launched the video, which is effectively when you actually launched you started selling.
Well, we started selling 3 razors. We were only selling 1 razor in July of 2011. That was the beta site. So, but yes, for all intents and purposes,
you're selling 3.
March 2012 was the beginning of what we know now as Dollar Shave Club.
Right. Yeah. And so you were selling 3 tiers, and then you ended up the year with $4 million in razor sales.
We did $4 million in sales in 2012. Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. And a lot of that was marketing after the video, or what else did you do to drive up sales?
The video drove a lot of sales organically. We started spending a little bit more money in October. We did a little bit of radio at the end of 2012, but not much. A lot of that 2012 stuff was organic, maybe a little Facebook.
So from the video, so that's quite a bit of sales in 1 year.
Yeah.
That's true. And it wasn't just a $1 razor. So even though it's a $1 shave club, it's $1 plus shipping, but still you have a $6. So it's not really a $1. It's like the dollar store.
Well, it says
it's never a dollar. What's that?
It says $1.
It says $1, but it's multiple dollars. It should be the multiple dollar shave club.
Tomato.
But it's true. It's like, did you ever go to the dollar price store? It's just
nothing in there is worth nothing there costs $1.
No, well, they do. They just give you one little one toilet paper.
Yeah, but then you got to pay $1 for the bag, so it's at least $2.
That's true. So anyway, so you sell. So what's amazing is that you're doing $140 million in sales, and you have 3 SKUs. Yeah, that's it. That's all you sell.
That's not true. We have 3 SKUs of 3 razor SKUs, but then we have our line of grooming products as well.
Oh, that's right. But what percentage of your sales come from the grooming products?
I can't tell you that, Bambi.
A little bit.
No.
When does it go over?
I would have to cut that out of the video.
Okay. That's the first time you've actually sliced in a line.
What are the other words? What are the other words I'm trying to?
Dull, smooth, close, shave. Okay, so let's move on. Business model. Oh yeah, just curious. So you sold $4 million. So were you able to make money, or do the razors cost a lot more than a $1?
No, we made money on all of our sales in the product-wise.
Okay, so you were able, but the marketing was really expensive. Was pretty expensive.
Not in 2012. We spend a lot more on marketing now than we did in 2012.
Do you spend more on? You spend a ton on Facebook. Is that where or is it more the commercials? I guess are pretty expensive to make.
I mean, we spread it around. It's we think of marketing as an ecosystem, as one must. We think of it as a big funnel, right? And anybody in e-commerce will talk to you about the awareness and conversion funnel. There's really big channels like television and radio. Then there's medium channels, or not medium, but middle of the funnel channels like Facebook and radio also, and then lower parts of the funnel, which can be Facebook also and digital. Or any other type of digital media, and it just, we'll hit you with a different message at different parts of the funnel. So, Facebook's certainly an important part of the ecosystem, but not, we're not spending all our money on Facebook by any means.
So I want to just backtrack to sort of your getting off the ground, because I know a lot of the startups here are probably trying to get their Series A, and they're probably looking at you and thinking, oh man, you have a really cool business. You get to make
certainly
fun,
not dull. It's
fun.
not dull.
It's not dull. That's good. And so, but a lot of them here are trying to raise their Series A. And so maybe to you it came pretty quickly because you were able to actually ramp up so quickly with revenue. But I don't. What would you say to everybody here? Like, where do they have to be to get a Series A? What do they need to do? I mean, I'm sure you had a lot of conversations with a lot of VCs. What were they telling you where you needed to be?
Yeah.
At that point, I'm sure the hurdle is much higher.
How many people out there are raising money right now for their company? How many are raising seed? Series A? Okay. So more seed than Series A. Yeah, I mean, look, at the seed stage, I can share my experience. At the seed stage, it was all about me and the idea and the market, and that's what you're selling, right? It's a job interview, and somebody is interviewing you to see if you're the kind of person that can bring your idea, if it's a good idea and a big enough market, to life, and get a sense of what type of entrepreneur you're going to be, and that's what you ought to focus on. There's a zillion blog posts out there about what makes a good entrepreneur and what you need to focus on, and it's out there for you to read. I don't need to talk about that, but remember that's what they're going after. Nobody expects you to have it all figured out at the seed stage. When you get to Series A, that's what you want to get to, Series A.
I had another question, but
no. Well, Series A is a bit of a different ballgame. I mean, we were very fortunate because we gained a lot of notoriety after the first video launched, and people were knocking on our door, and we didn't have to do a ton of. We did hit the road because you always want more than one offer if possible, but we were fortunate. We were pretty sure that we would get funded eventually, and I think every Series A can mean so many different things. It can mean it can mean 5 million, it can mean 3 million, it can mean 10 million. It just depends on what kind of company you are and where the money is going. You got to be really clear about where that money is going.
And was there any talk about valuation, and was there talk about valuation. How did you establish that? Because you're pretty fast growing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was very fortunate to have some folks with me that had raised a lot of money, before to help me think through the mechanics of valuation. It's as much an arbitrary science as it is an emotional one and a financial one. I mean, the only guidance that I would really give around valuation is don't overvalue yourself, and that's a philosophy that we've had even long before people were talking about unicorns and companies not being able to justify their really high valuations. But you don't want to box yourself in with too high of a valuation, because then the next guy is going to come in and say, well, either you deserve that or you don't, and then you really hope that you do, because otherwise you're going to take a down round. And too many entrepreneurs, I think, go after the frothy valuation because it feels really cool, and they see raising money as the be-all, end-all of their success, and it's not. It's fundraising, raising funds keeps your business alive, and it's something to celebrate, but that's not the be-all, end-all.
So can you be candid here and talk about maybe what was like the biggest fundraising challenge, and maybe which round was the toughest, and maybe a decision, a road you decided to go down, which sort of backfired?
Yeah, I mean, I think we fundraising is tough even when you're a great company. I mean, look, there's the Snapchats of the world which will never have a problem raising money because it's just, I mean, and Uber, right? Those companies are very blessed because they'll never have to knock on any doors proactively. The money, people are just throwing money at them. But for most of us, you have to work for it. And even Dollar Shave Club, you know, we spent weeks and weeks on the road, and even with our success, people still had doubts. And you're always selling your business to VCs. And I think the best thing that you can do if you're lucky enough to have a choice is find a VC that believes in what you're doing and supports your vision, because ultimately things will go a little sideways, and you'll want people that will persevere with you, you know, as you encounter headwinds, and they have to share your vision.
Time's up, really? Can't be. Wait, oh, there's a question. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Wait, so you started with your video? You started with the video?
That's right.
You started by launching your video, is
Yep.
that correct?
Yep.
And where did you launch this video?
YouTube.
Really? You actually did it on YouTube?
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Is there a
See?
question?
www.yo.
Okay, hold on right there. It's funny, we have two women asking questions. He doesn't even make pink razors. They're all brown. And
Hi, just a quick question.
Target.
The 4 E's, again, are?
Exclusivity, emotion, experience. Exclusivity, experience, emotion, engagement. Remember that. That's all you need to know to build a great business.
Hey, Michael.
Hi.
So a lot of entrepreneurs and founders are here. I have a question on how did you get your first 10 customers, and then what did you do to move to the first 1,000, or strategies to get to first 1,000, or maybe the first 100,000 customers?
So this answer will probably not be helpful to you. What kind of business do you run?
Telemedicine.
Okay. And so your customer is who?
Patients talking to a doctor, FaceTime.
Okay. Well, maybe it will be helpful to you then. But, you know, for us, look, the market that we're playing in is huge. Most people shave something on their body a couple times a week. And most people have the general perception that razors are pretty expensive. What we did is we told a story that people have been telling each other for a very long time, and we just put ourselves in a position to really share that story. So we got the first 10 customers and the first 10,000 customers at the same time. It was really about, I mean, the best advice that I can give is really to get a great piece of, you don't even have to do a video, just understand what the value is that you're bringing to your customer and find a great way to tell that story somehow. It doesn't need to be video, but then you might have to put a little bit of money behind it to get it in front of the right audience, and then you'll get your first 10 and your first 1,000 customers at the same time. If you don't have a really great digital marketing person on your team, that should be one of your first hires, because they can help you do that. Yeah.
I would just do a spoof video on his video and then just change all the words around.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the first, but.
Hi there. Currently, I believe you guys are only a subscription business. Do you guys have any plans to do e-com or offer your products to more people that aren't members of Dollar Shave Club?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Also, given the fact that you're subscription commerce, do you feel that the more that people know about your brand, the more that reduces your monthly churn?
The more people that what with the brand?
That know about your brand, and the more you spend on performance marketing to let the broader world know about Dollar Shave Club, do you feel that from a metric standpoint that has reduced your churn over time?
I don't know if that, I think that that's certainly an insightful way to look at it, and I'm sure that there's some correlation there that we can't really measure, right? The recognition of a brand, or the relative recognizability of a brand or awareness of a brand contributing to, you know, lowering churn. I'm sure that you could connect those dots somehow. But, you know, lowering churn is a, you know, the best ways to lower churn are pretty unsexy, right? It's not the commercials. It's you know,
have a good product.
Well, to have a good product, of course, but it's understanding credit card churn. I mean, you know, the biggest reason that people churn and leave Dollar Shave Club is actually credit card declines. And so if we can fix that problem, which we constantly do, you know, churn drops pretty quickly. But it's great CRM, you know, creating the right rhythm and cadence of communication with your customer within the CRM channels, giving them the right features on digital product so that they can toggle their membership to their desire or best fit, and then just like the really unsexy stuff with credit cards. It's all kind of like wrapped up in that.
Okay, two more questions. There's one over here.
And one here.
Oh, okay. Oh, go ahead, since you have a mic.
Has any of the big guys tried to buy out the whole company?
Have any of the big guys tried to buy us? I cannot answer that question in such a public setting.
So your video is the first time I've heard of your club, and it was actually presented at a Fortune 500 company of an example of disruptive technology, and these are the kind of upstarts that you have to watch out for. Uber, and you were mentioned in the same breath at that time.
Yeah,
now,
I'd rather be Uber. But
how much did it cost, and who came up with the idea? Was this all from you? I mean, was this something that you scripted everything yourself? I just wanted to kind of get a background on that.
Yeah, yes. I mean, look, we have 150 people, and that's the reason why we're very successful today. But yes, in the early days, it was you know, it was all my idea. I wrote the video. I figured out the logistics. I did the customer service. I mean, and it was fun. I mean, I'm not saying it's not fun now. It's a different kind of fun. But you know, those days were great because it was just kind of me doing my thing, and you know, who could have thought that it would get to where it's gotten? But yes, that the early days was all me.
Since this is such an engaged audience, I'll open it up. It's the end of the day, so if we have 2 more questions, we'll take those. Anybody have a? Oh, right there. See?
Oh, hi. This is a quick question. Do you think it's due to have some innovation in shaving? I saw this campaign on Kickstarter. It was heavily overfunded about a laser.
Yeah, I saw
blade.
that. Yep, the Scarp laser razor.
I think so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to see your thoughts on, like, what do you think of that? And
Yeah,
where the
I
market's
mean,
going?
if you'd asked me a week ago, I would have had a different thought. But I just read that they took that Kickstarter campaign down, which is. Yeah, and I mean, there's a zillion reasons why somebody's Kickstarter campaign gets taken down and everybody's money refunded, but it certainly sounded like an interesting idea, but then they took it down, so who knows if it was even a real thing. But yeah, good question.
And then you.
Yeah, the question is, since you have a brand that says Dollar Shave Club and you're competing on price, what are your thoughts about competing with other ones like, say, Harry's, who are not necessarily competing on price and coming up with more premium experiences?
Yeah, well, Harry's is competing on price. They certainly are. You know, what Dollar Shave Club is saying to you is across the board, whether it's our razors or our non-razor products, we're saying that, you know, you should be using a best-in-class product, but you shouldn't be paying a best-in-class price, or look like $1 million, but don't pay it. So I don't know if that answers your question.
I mean, the detailed question was like, eventually, will you always be having to compete on price because of the name like Dollar Shave, versus Harry's can come up with a more premium version because they're not necessarily, even right now they're competing on price, but maybe in the future their brand allows them to expand beyond that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Is the name Dollar Shave Club somehow limiting? I don't think that's an unfair question. I think that the way that I always intended Dollar Shave Club to be was a stylish, you know, edgy, no pun intended, although I get points, a brand that has, you know, some panache to it, right? Like you can make Dollar Shave Club cool, just even though it has the word dollar in it. And I think that we've been successful if you look at our demographics. Our median age is 36. Average household income is around the $80,000 mark, and it's weighted. We have a huge percentage that's over 100,000. So this is not a discount shopper that's shopping for Dollar Shave Club. There are lots of places you can get cheap razors on the internet. We're not the first. We're not going to be the last. I think that people don't look at Dollar Shave Club and say, "Oh, that's the cheap razor company." I think they say, "Oh, that's a really fun company that is changing the razor business, or where I can get a razor that's not as much as my Gillette." So maybe down the road we start naming or calling ourselves more something like DSC, but I don't think that today that concept is limiting. But it is the right question.
But it's a cost-conscious consumer, right? I mean, it's not a.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many rich folk there are in the room, but rich people are some of the most frugal people of all. Yeah. I mean, nobody likes getting ripped off by anybody.
Yeah, no, I think cost conscious is actually a good.
But I wouldn't call them cost conscious. I would call them smart.
Right.
Yeah.
Frugal. Okay. Smart.
It's smart not to get ripped off.
Yeah,
for paying for stuff you don't need, extra features. There's always going to be the guy or the girl who wants the extra trim on the car, or the extra woof in the subwoofer or whatever.
I'd call them sharp.
Okay, good, nice.
Yeah, Michael, just a quick question.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you said you had that connection already into the supply chain.
Yeah.
How important was that to develop the momentum that you guys had, the really quick momentum that you guys had? Would you have maybe started the company if you didn't have the access to that supply chain?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you have to be able to. I mean, look, consumers will be patient if you run out of inventory, but to a point. We sold out of inventory for like 3 months because of the big viral, the viral push that we got from the video. And fortunately, because we were tapped into the supply chain, we could, it didn't take us long to refill the warehouse. But yeah, you do have to. I mean, it's hard to estimate how fast you're going to grow in the early days. I mean, now we know exactly how fast we're going to grow because we've been doing it for a long time, and we have an eye on our marketing spend, and we know how much inventory we have in the warehouse, et cetera. But in the early days, it's very hard to predict what your growth is going to be. But you should understand your suppliers, or your partners that are on the supply side should be very aware of your business and what you're doing, and it's important to build that relationship. I talk to founders all the time who started businesses. I was talking to a company that sells flowers, and they source some of their flowers from South America and elsewhere, and they were saying, like, they were just echoing that point, which is, they wish that their suppliers and their partners on the supply chain side really understood their business and what was important to them, because their business is so dynamic and changing all the time and going through different, growth spurts. So yeah, you really do have to build those relationships right.
All right, I know it's hard to end this conversation because we're getting so much out of you. You've been awesome, and I think everybody wants to continue this discussion, but we can't because we have an after party to go to. We have winners to announce, but I'm sure Michael will stick around.
Did I win?
Yeah, who had more points? I think I had like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so everybody give Michael a
Thank you.
big hand, an applause.